I live in the city, so the fires didn't get near me.
Okay, good, good, good. Because I was wondering,
Where
you
you
been
at,
quiet.
Christian?
I'm in New York,
Oh yeah, I
Harlem,
should have
baby.
known by the accent.
Harlem.
I
I
should have
said,
known.
should have.
You got man. You a real New
I'm a
Yorker
real Harlem
too.
cat, B. Like for real. Facts. Gather round, true believers. That's if you still living. Yeah, we back again. We're back again. We back again. And we got the man one more time, but this time it's on another level. You know what I mean? Welcome to the MCU Society, the capital city of Adaland. To everyone loves a good story, and in the name of comics, our love for all things inspired and causing creation of great comic books and stories. So the man that brought Sam Wilson's solo story into play is back. He's also one of the developers and one of the great minds behind Bel Air. And if you guys have been watching that, you know it tapped into a whole nother levels of emotions and everything in season 3. It's just a good mentor and a good brother to talk to. He's also executive producer, and I need to clarify the other roles that he's supposed to be labeled as with Captain America: Brave New World, because I see a lot of janky. You know, we know what we gonna curse on this one. I'll bleep him out for the other edit, but I see some janky shit going on, and I know he likes to, keep it real. So Malcolm Spellman is in the building, fresh off the plane. Welcome, brother.
Welcome in. Thank you for having me, bro. This is one of my favorite platforms to sit down on, just because it feels like home. So,
Thank you,
you
man.
know,
Thank you. It is home
the
for
East
you,
Coast
brother.
version of home, but it's still home. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. We in the building. So, all right. So we got to do it this way, brother Malcolm. We gotta enter into the Savage Land. So basically, this is where we have to address all the woolly mammoths, the saber-tooths, dinosaurs, and savages in the room, and just get it out the way so we can clear the air. You know what I'm saying? You
Let's
ready?
do it.
All right.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah.
All right. So basically, you brought in uh, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and it was during a very tumultuous time that you had to finish it up with COVID and everything. It came out
Yep.
dope. At one point, it was the highest watched show on Disney Plus. Period. Right
Yep.
after
Yep.
WandaVision had already came out, so it wasn't as if and WandaVision is up there. So for Falcon and Winter Soldier to be up there too, that says something to the work that you guys put in and the way you connected with us as fans, right? So
Yep.
after that, because of that success, you given the green light to do Captain America, uh, what was originally called New World Order. Okay. So
Yes.
I just want to make sure I get the facts right before I let you
Yeah.
explain
Yeah.
this. You
Yeah.
know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Yep. All good.
New World Order, Brave New World. It switches the name. Now, uh, being that this is the fourth installment of the Captain America story, but the first time that Sam Wilson is getting his own feature film, there's a lot of changes. There's a lot of other stuff going on in the backgrounds. Some fans aren't ready to see Steve Rogers missing on a movie level. Whatever. You come in as executive producer and lead writer. Am I correct?
Lead Will writer in that I'm credited in story by and screen. I'm the only me and my partner Dalen, who worked on the series with me,
Right.
are
Shout out Daily.
credited as story by and screen by, splitting with a different writer on story and a different writer on screenplay. So as far as the credits go, sure, lead writer, but not an EP. That was on so EP. That credit works differently in TV, right? In
Mm,
TV, it means you are the main creative force behind it. So they give you that EP credit
hmm
so that people understand you are the creator of this, right?
Right.
In movies, probably you'll hear this a lot in this interview. Movies is much more medium, and they don't have the same. So the credits don't work the same. EP doesn't even
Okay.
mean that much in movies. Okay?
Wow. Wow. Okay.
So I'm not, no, I'm
So,
not an EP on this, but I
okay.
was I laid the foundation.
Okay. So you had the story coming in. It was continuing from the work that you did on the series on Disney Plus. Then I started hearing all
Yes.
kinds of weird stuff going on. I actually personally heard that there was a contradiction between writers, one that actually read comic books and one that didn't read comic books, and I couldn't figure out who they were talking about. And it blew my mind because I'm like, well, Malcolm is about that life. He might not be reading comic books on a regular basis now, but he's a real
Yeah.
comic book head. So what
I,
happened?
I'm more legit than in that space. I'm more legit than a lot of people think they are now, but they have to appreciate the age difference in what I've been doing, right? I'm
Right.
from Berkeley, California, where right on the border of Oakland, where we had two major shops, Best of Two Worlds and Comics, and these was nationally known shops. And in the Bay Area, that's me. Yeah, that's me. Thank you, sir. In the Bay Area, it's very different than even New York as far as in the Bay, there's a cross pollination of all races
Mm-hmm.
and and more importantly, economics. So
Mm-hmm.
kids from the neighborhood go to the same shops as, you know what I'm saying? Like it
Right.
was a real culture out there. So yes, I was a serious comic book head for many decades. And then of course, as I started writing, less and less time for that. But no, I'm certified. I just can't, there's a cutoff for me. That's all.
Right. But I mean, anybody, all of us that have been reading comic books for 40 years plus, there's always going to be cutoffs. That doesn't change, especially when you're dealing with Marvel. I can't say the same for DC, but for Marvel, the
Me
the
either.
the
I
you know what
can't
I'm
say the
saying?
same for them
Because
either.
all that New World stuff, New 52, all of this other stuff, but Marvel tends to keep uh their golden era, actually they keep their silver age true to that, like that's the main canon, you know what I'm saying? So if you grew up in that
Yep.
era, Doctor Doom is still Doctor Doom. Captain America Steve Rogers is still Captain America Steve Rogers. Sam Wilson, he kind of changed a little bit, but Malcolm caught that and even took it to the next level, against my will, by making him from New Orleans and everything. But still, I'm not, I forgive him for that. Shout out to Anthony Mackie.
You
You know what I'm
wanted to
saying?
be from New York
I
still.
want to be from Harlem. He's from Harlem, bro. Like, I was waiting for that. I was like, yo, we get the first Harlem dude. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, Luke Cage was in Harlem, you know, with the other series, but nah, Sam was supposed to be from Harlem, be like,
It, but you know what? Here's what happens. The conversation in the country changes so much.
the country, yeah.
You're going to hate to hear what I'm about to say.
Hmm.
But Harlem doesn't ring as loud or mean as much to the American audience as it used to.
Mm,
They don't know what Harlem is. They
mm.
don't know, like, even our people know what Harlem is. You know what I'm saying?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Like it's singular.
Hmm.
And everyone in the world knew what Harlem meant. If you said I was from Harlem, they knew. If
Right,
you they knew you was fly. They knew
right,
you had a they knew you had a certain global. Even if you was in the streets, you had a globalness to it, and they knew
right.
it was a hub of black culture. But look at New York City now. Look
Yeah,
at New York City now. It isn't that no more. No one.
right.
So we had to make adjustments that would capture Sam's story,
Hmm.
and getting into the South. And one thing people don't know is New Orleans is, I believe, don't let the Hoteps get mad at me, I believe New York is the most African city still in America as far as the traditions and everything. You know what I'm
Uh,
saying?
yeah, I wouldn't.
Um,
I'm not gonna say that for sure either, because um, Atlanta changed a lot of stuff, and a lot of us went down there because
right, but I mean, if you go to New Orleans, all that shit they doing with like Second Line, the music that came out of
oh yeah,
there and
yeah,
all that,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's all like, if you go there, when I went out there and did one of them tours, and this is where I heard this. So it was the tourist, obviously the guide was obviously biased,
Yeah.
but the traditions and stuff that came over from Africa
Hmm.
are most alive in Atlanta compared to any other city in the. I mean, in New
In
Orleans
New York,
compared to
New
any other
Orleans.
city in the country. Now, but I don't know if that's true. I just what they told me on the tour, the Black History tour.
Okay. Well, yeah, I love New Orleans, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Is the story that you brought into the beginning of Captain America still the skeleton frame of what we're going to see, We have not. I have not seen the movie yet. I see it in like 3-4 days. Is it the same
I,
or
I, I'll say this: the skeleton is still there. The movie changed a lot. You know what I'm saying?
how
And
many
again,
times over?
that's not me meaningfully, but the credits are credits, right? Meaning this: the
Hmm.
Writers Guild determines who gets what credit, not me, not Marvel, not anyone else, right?
Right.
So it changed enough that I'm sharing credit with two different people, but
Okay.
what I did is there enough that that me and my partner are the only ones credited in both slots.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But again, I do want to be respectful. Like it really is Julius's movie. You know what I'm saying? The
Okay.
directors, like he took it
Okay.
in the direction he felt it needed to go in, and that's what's supposed to happen in movies. You know what I'm saying?
Mm. Okay. Yeah, because that was the next question. I'm seeing written and directed by Julia Sona, and I'm like, okay, something happened there, and it was very loud, and all of the fans, MCU Society, all of the discords, they're talking crazy. Um, I see where you're at with it. I'll ask last about the behind the scenes thing. Did you see the movie yet?
Yeah,
Okay.
I dug it. I dug it.
Okay. And I know you real.
Yep,
You're not
I
gonna
dug
tell
it.
me no bullshit. You're
I
good.
definitely say this: you not gonna walk in and be like, this is one of the bad ones. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody has some bad ones. Again, for me, there's a long history of writers in Hollywood
Hmm.
who I'm trying to figure out how to be politically correct because I'm not mad at nobody, right?
Right.
But it's just very different. Let me just say this one more time. It's very different from the series where I had much more of an imprint on it.
Okay.
And that's how it's supposed to be in movies. The
Okay.
director really
Does
does
it?
get final say.
All right. Let's move
Yeah.
on. Whether it's your idea or simply the more authentic one, I noticed that you tend to lean into the authentic one for the story's sake. From adding Juneteenth celebration in Bel Air to making
Yep.
Sam Wilson a NOLA native and the other underlying narratives of what it means to be black in what is a seminal historical event. Can we look to any kind of authenticity like that in Brave New World?
It's so I haven't seen the final cut, but there should be some of that in there, much less than the
Good.
series.
That makes me
And
happy.
but you are
Though.
correct. Yeah,
Okay.
you are correct that when I'm writing, I do think that we as creators make more money when we honor the details of blackness.
Hmm.
Like I don't even believe the white people who dislike black people
Right.
don't like us do our thing. They
Right.
love it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They may not uh uh
It,
uh
it it affects them, right, in a different way.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So but it's like I said, in this one where I had less control, sorry you can't see me for a second. I'm responding to top.
Okay.
Cap America. Hold on. Amer America premiere. So yes, this one is much more traditional, like political thriller first, though. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
So going off of how you look at movies, and you got the two-handers, you're saying political thriller. Give me the movies that you're feeling that you were, that you're there with, is because it's not a two-hander, this one, right?
No, no. It
So
it
what's
it
going
has
on?
traces of it. No, it's much more Sam. So to the movies we watch all of the we watched Day of the Jackal. We watched the one In the Line of Fire.
Mm.
Man, we watched so many of these. In the Line of Fire though was a good one. I'm blanking now, but we watched everything. And we watched what is it? The one with Robert Redford. We
Robert
watched like
Redford.
we had a laundry list of stuff we were referring to.
Okay.
Um,
If you remember that
um,
one, text me because I'm you probably on 29 now. So
yeah.
let me figure this out. Um, when love breaks through ego, breaks down pride, broadens ideology. It shows itself in the most powerful and beautiful human ways. Season 2 and season 3 of Bel Air hit a frequency that helped make the show more relatable. Can we find notes like that in the movie for Sam? Is
Some.
he getting a girl, B? Like, come on, B. It's like the fourth movie and your man don't got no girl yet. Like, what's going on, B?
Me and you gonna talk again after this.
Okay, yeah, definitely. We got to. We got to.
We should definitely do a follow up. We
Yeah,
should definitely do a follow up, and then you can jam me up about stuff that you saw,
right.
right?
Yeah, I'm gonna
And
lift it
I
up.
might be able to. Yeah.
Okay, so all right. No, he ain't answering about the girls yet, y'all. So it's a clear. All right, here we go. Next, do you feel that you did a well enough job creating a foundation for Sam Wilson to become Captain America in Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Do you feel like you did what you needed to do because you had to change stuff? You know, did you feel complete?
I'm gonna tell you, Christian, I did, as far as, like, again, this goes to what you were saying about comics and stuff, right?
Right.
I do feel like if you're steeped in the culture,
Mm-hmm.
you're qualified to diverge from it because you grew up genuinely loving what the original intention was,
Correct.
right?
Yes, I
And
agree.
so if you're changing it, you're not changing it because you don't respect it. You're changing it because you're like, for me to make it feel today like what it felt like back then,
Mm-hmm.
I got to make the changes, right?
Right.
For the series, I definitely was very proud of that. And felt like, of course, when you rewatch it, there's a million things you might have done differently, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it ultimately, the overall feeling of that series is the feeling I wanted it to have, in him landing in this position where I did not want him to be heading off into these movies absolutely certain he had made the right decision.
Right. I remember that. So, what parts of the actual Captain America mantle do you feel you added to the movie to move the story forward?
So this was one of the toughest things we had to deal with. This movie skips forward in time, right?
Uh,
And so
how much? How
it's
much
not,
time?
he's, yeah, he's been enough that he's been capped for a while,
Oh, okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that caused that we really had to bang our heads on getting, like, we almost had to write a movie that didn't come out
Mm.
so that we could all create from the space of where he's at when this movie begins.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that was just necessary because the MCU is an organic thing and it's moving and changing around you. And there was no way to fit him into the MCU with purpose and have him pick up anywhere near where the series was.
Well, I mean,
So it's not a huge leap,
right.
but I think it's like 2 years.
So I guess so. What about the mantle? Is still what about the actual mantle, whether it's Steve Rogers or Sam? Like, what about it, or did you
The
guys keep to move everything forward?
the burden of it is right there
Mm.
because it's so funny. Like, not everyone, a very small, loud, tiny group of people were barking about. Seriously, that's what they
No,
are.
I
The
know.
movie is the movie is tracking to do well. I think these
Oh, they was
motherfuckers
hating.
talk shit,
They was hating. I mean,
huh?
they've been hating. I
Yeah,
mean, anything on the minority level, anything on women being in the lead, anything that doesn't have to do with, and it makes me really think that it's kind of not even coming from America, that it's coming from Europe, because Loki is all the way up here for no reason, and the only reason Loki is on that level or should be looked at as the best is because of what my boy Jonathan Majors did in that movie. He took that show to the next level. Um,
he's one of the best in the game right
he
now.
definitely
Period.
is. So I hear what you're saying about the dog whistles and all of that, but
Yes,
the small group that's hating, that don't want a black man to be Captain America, we already understand that. So that's going to be something that Sam has to struggle with. But when I say mantle, I mean the whole idea of Cap. Okay, so you said a couple things in there. So when you said that you guys basically had to write a movie that you didn't shoot, that's the same thing that happened with Steve when he came in Infinity War. Remember, he had the tattered. He looked like they had already created the Secret Avengers, and they didn't say anything about it for a while. So, is it
Yep.
like when you say that you did that? Is that what you mean with Sam? Kind of like the same thing
Yes.
they did with Steve?
Yes, because what happened is if this had started a little bit earlier in the timeline, he would still now, we would have definitely had him dealing with the world experiencing this Cap for the first time. And
Mm,
you could tell how that probably would go, right?
right.
But because of where this is taking place, that's already happened. So we
Okay.
tried to put that DNA in the character that's gone through that.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
having the fact he's been doing it for 2 years, he settled into role. The weight of the mantle is alive in the movie, though. At least the
Okay.
version I saw. The
Okay.
version I saw, he's still dealing with that.
Let's get it. So, the rumor mill ran rampant throughout production of Captain America: Brave New World. The most sobering truths out of them all is that the Serpent Society is still part of the story. Uh, as Giancarlo Esposito has clarified, his role is Sidewinder, the king of the Serpent Society, once being used as a joke in Hall H. Why was it important to keep parts of them in the story for Brave New
Be-
World?
Because they're, you know what? How about this for a simple ass answer?
Hmm.
They're dope to us. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
They're dope to us.
They are,
So
they always was dope.
it was, and I thought the casting was smart because the casting is a message to the audience that we are taking him seriously.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
He's a leader and very, very experienced and
Hmm.
formidable in what he does.
Yes, and as he could have also been Charles Xavier if he had really wanted to focus in. It's very interesting that he chose and is excited to carry Sidewinder through the MCU. So, kudos to getting
Yeah,
him.
he's dope.
Yeah, kudos to getting
In
him
all
in.
honesty, the whole Serpent Society needs to be propped up. You know
Yes,
what I'm
sir.
saying?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Like
sir.
when you start playing with the characters in the room,
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying? He's dope.
So did you do that because that was your back door into bringing Deathlock in?
Wait a minute? Why'd you ask about him?
Because Serpent Society, Deathlock, it's a no
He,
brainer.
he's my dude.
I
I
know he's your
yeah.
favorite, but I'm talking
I
comic books right now.
so
Did you do that thinking that you could backdoor Deathlock in through the Serpent Society part of the story? Because it's right there.
it's. Can you write Kevin and tell him that?
I damn sure can, and I damn sure will. If that's what you.
Because of everything, that's the one I want to do. But that's not why we did it. We did it because we needed some cool ass villains that were from the same tissue.
Okay. Okay. So let's keep it moving. In a previous conversation, you mentioned Bruce Willis's Die Hard as a storyline to compare Sam's flight to victory in spite of the fact that he has no powers. Now that Red Hulk and the leader are clearly antagonists in this next chapter, how do you as a writer keep a believable balance in the main character's failures and victories with enemies that have incredible advantages, hyper intelligence, and now physical prowess? How is he even
It,
believably going through this?
it's a matter of Sam's character, right? Like
Hmm.
meaning this, and you're supposed to use those things to say that Sam's instincts are like they come from humanity that a black man would have, and
Hmm.
that can match. That's where the blind spots of the leaders is going to be, right? Because he's just using intellect. He doesn't have
Hmm.
that humanity. As far as Red Hulk, it comes from character again. There should be, again, I got to see the final cut. There should be some good moments in there that show you who Sam is, which is that guy who will push himself to the brink of anything if he believes in a cause. And ultimately, when you think about Red Hulk's strength and abilities, that's one thing. But he's up against someone who, in a way, you're kind of counting on the audience to know this. Sam can't die in this movie and Sam is willing to die for shit he believes in,
Mm-hmm.
and that power is a power in and of itself.
Okay,
But
so
I also had some more complicated ideas on how to beat Red Hulk that didn't make it in. That would have been fun too. We'll talk
okay.
about those in the next one.
Yeah, we definitely will. Because I need to talk about Extremis. I need to talk about the Super Soldier Serum. I'll wait to see it if you guys did what I thought you and figured out what you guys were doing, but I'm not going to say anything yet because I need to know
So
how.
do me a favor. My phone is about to die. I need a little bit of gas to call my mom. Can you ask me one more good one? And I promise you, we will get right back to this.
Okay, we'll get back to it. Let's do this. Back to, okay. You had the honor of introducing Madripoor to the MCU. Now you have the honor of introducing Adamantium via Harrison Ford, of all actors, to President Ross. Gee, like, okay, what does it mean to you to be able to address the world powers and their temperaments over a natural and unnatural resource?
It for us, like we like we that's where you still geek out, right? Like Madripoor was literally us running about when they finally said, because we found out that we were going to get to use it. You have to start writing the series,
Mm-hmm.
and then Kevin has to look at the entire MCU. Think about the decisions that you're making when you do that shit, right?
Right.
And so we was psyched when we got to do that. The same thing with Adamantium, and I got to tell you, it was one of those things where being a comic book nerd is a bad trait. Like
Really?
there are people online, sometimes it can be bad to love the books because you start wanting to write a movie about that.
Mm.
As opposed to all the other shit, you like, oh my God, we're bringing Adamantium to the world.
Right.
And I got blinded by it a little bit in the beginning.
Okay.
Like, they had to pull us back and be like, yo, bro, this movie's about other things too.
Right.
Because you almost end up being like, do we even need Red Hulk now? Spend more time on it. So that was one that I gotta admit I ended up needing help on because I was going down the rabbit hole.
Yeah,
We all know what adamantium means and what it's about to mean
right.
in a minute. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like it's huge.
It's beyond huge. I mean, it means everything. But you said ask you a good one. Yo, much love to you. Let's follow back up.
I got you.
You know what I mean? Text.
We gonna get back to it.
No doubt.
I'll hit you up.
Salute, brother.
All right. Like.
Stay tuned and follow us in the name of comics.